Hey everyone, William here with the 10th development update video for Manifold Garden. We recently upgraded to Unity 2017.4 from 5.6.4. A lot of people are wondering why we're upgrading versions so close to release, and there are a couple of reasons for this. The first is that we can now use MSAA instead of just super sampling for anti-aliasing. We're using our own rendering pipeline, so our anti-aliasing system is a little bit different than what is found in native Unity. For us, with the way we are doing things, the edge detection, transparencies, it just wasn't possible for us to use MSA until 2017.4. It's a little bit hard to see the difference, but in super sampling, the lines are a little bit more broken up, at least with our edges, and it almost looks like it was drawn on a rough surface or something. With MSAA, the lines are much smoother. The second reason for upgrading to 2017.4 is that it's a long-term support version of Unity. Now, this is something that was just introduced about a month ago, and it basically means that with these versions, there won't be any new features, but Unity will be addressing crashes, console SDK updates. It will also be supported for 2 years, so it's perfect for someone in our situation. As far as the rest of the tech is concerned, we're not adding any new features. We're still focusing on optimization, visual glitches, and bugs. Despite how it may seem from the outside, we are in fact making progress. There are a lot of interconnected systems, so it often feels like we're playing whack-a-mole with bugs. We fix one, but then 2 more come up. One of the optimizations we've done is we're using a slightly different rendering system to render the duplicate objects. In the past, to create duplicates for, let's say, the cube, we had to create 125 instances, as it was on a 5x5x5 grid. Now, only one of these instances had the cube gameplay logic, but this still meant there were 125 transforms getting updated each frame. The new system actually bypasses the render component. Instead of sending information for each transform to the GPU, we store the information of the main one in a buffer and then just look it up and add the positional offsets to render the duplicates. Additionally, we're also now doing frustum calling on the GPU. Saving and loading continues to be a really tricky problem, but it's becoming more and more stable. The hardest part about it is just testing it because it's super time consuming. I have to play through the game multiple times, saving and loading and checking out different scenarios. But we are getting there. We've been working on audio design and music as well. Most of the sounds in the game are currently placeholder as we're focusing on the technical side of things. We have about 90% of the audio hooks in. The remaining hooks are a bit more complicated to implement. One example is having different filters adjust based on whether you're indoor or outdoor, but this requires a way for us to distinguish these spaces on a systematic level, which isn't always easy with the world wrapping and some of the architecture. Another issue is having sounds play continuously when you go through a portal. We're currently teleporting the player when they go through a portal, so this means sounds on one side will stop playing abruptly as soon as you go through a portal. One approach we're thinking of going with is having the sound emitter on the player object instead of the environment. In terms of general production, we've finished localization. Currently for launch, we are planning on having English, French, Spanish, German, Italian, Russian, Japanese, and both traditional and simplified Chinese. There's still some work left to do to adjust the UI layout for each language, accommodate the difference in length of words, and selecting fonts for Cyrillic alphabet, etc. Finally, for level design, I'm focusing on the overall pacing and especially the last third of the game. The content is all there, but they do need to get moved around and adjusted and tweaked. I am also planning on returning to the opening level and polishing that up again. I was at GDC last month demoing the game, and I saw a lot of room for improvement, especially now that I've gotten a lot better at level design and we also have different tools at our disposal. In the last video I mentioned I'm going to be doing a series where I go through all the systems in the game in detail and explain how they work, the world wrapping, the shaders, the level loading, etc. This is still the plan. Anyway, that's it for this time. Thank you for the continued support and for your patience. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, let me know if you have any questions or feedback in the comments. You can also add the game to your wish list on Steam, and as always, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch.